Senator Lankford is next recognized, and we're going to hold you to the time limit as best as I can.
I'll take it from there. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director, good to see you again. Over the past 6 months, there have been numerous document requests back and forth with the FBI. The FBI has hired additional contractors to be able to help expedite some of that process. Can you give me an update on the request from the House and the Senate for any documents that we've requested, either from the House or Senate, to be able to have access to, redacted or unredacted? What's the status of those at this point?
Well, Senator, as you alluded to, we actually have been dealing with quite a number of requests, right. Some of them almost unprecedented in their volume from a number of different committees. We have, in the case of one committee, for example, we've doubled the number. I doubled the number of people working on it, basically round the clock, full time, to over 50 people. So we're chugging away, making progress. A lot of the redactions, it depends on the particular committee and the particular request, but have to do with things like grand jury secrecy, where we legally have an implication, or, as I referenced with the chairman, protection of human sources and methods that go with that, or in some cases, ongoing investigations. So we are trying our best to be responsive, but we're also trying to be responsible.
Sure. Yeah, so do you have any deadlines of when there'll be all documents that are currently in request? I'm sure there's always another request coming.
Well, it's rolling. I don't have numbers for you here right now, that level of specificity in this hearing, but I can tell you that every week we're cranking out documents and people are coming over to spaces that we have set aside from the Hill to review documents. So it's an ongoing process, thousands of documents being produced.
Let me switch over. Department of Justice and I started a conversation about 6 years ago about trying to align the processes of FBI and ATF, because they're both doing investigations, but their processes are very different. I know you don't oversee ATF, but I've continued to be able to raise with the Department of Justice to be able to take a look at those two processes and make sure that they're good and consistent. Quite frankly, I think the FBI has a very good process to be able to go through how you conduct investigations, how you gather evidence, what you do, and there may be some things to be able to learn from ATF. Do you know if there's been an outreach from DOJ yet to FBI to be able to look at processes at FBI and to try to lay that comparison with ATF?
Senator, I don't know specifically about that. I will tell you that we do work daily with ATF. They're great partners.
Sure.
And as you say, while I'm sure there are things they can learn from us, there are definitely things we can learn from them too. And so we're in constant contact at all levels.
Great. We'll continue to be able to follow up on that. The background checks have been a constant issue about trying to raise the number of background checks and the speed of those. FBI is obviously very involved in helping with that process. Can you help us understand better what could be done better to not only up the speed, but to give your agents more time to be able to work on transnational criminal organizations and crimes against children and so many other things that you do, rather than so much time on the background check? Is there a better way to do it?
I think we're all frustrated at the pace. We have to be thorough. We have to be careful. I think one of the challenges that we deal with is that when we're running searches, we are fundamentally at the FBI a field deployed organization. Right. So it's not just that there could be one place centrally at headquarters that would have all that information. People could be more, nominees could probably be faster in getting us paperwork, because that's where we start. But there's a lot of different ways in which lots of us have to do more. We have looked at things, and we do things like use retired agents sometimes come back as as contractors, because they have some of that judgment and experience. Obviously, all that requires resources, but that's another way we're trying to do things
If there are ways that we can help on that, we're very interested in being able to get that from you. Obviously, we don't want to take a lot of time from your agents' time with other projects that they've got. This is very important as well to be able to do background checks with great speed, but it also takes a tremendous amount of time. Let me switch over to the transnational criminal organizations and try to see focus you've had and the cooperation with the U.S. attorneys at this point, because that requires a tremendous amount of coordination with all areas of DHS, all areas of obviously FBI, U.S. attorneys. What are you seeing at this point in the transnational criminal organizations?
Well, I think transnational criminal organizations are maybe one of the least talked about, but yet most pervasive threats we have to deal with. We see it not just in the obvious in terms of drug trafficking and all kinds of violent crime, but even the things that might not be as obvious to the American people. Of course, they're involved in human trafficking. We've seen reporting about them relying on intellectual property theft of all kinds of things, to raise revenue. So pretty much any area of violation that the subcommittee can think about, transnational criminal organizations are in them. So we're seeing that more and more. I think one of the strengths that the FBI brings to the table over the course of its entire 110-year history is a focus on organized crime, dismantling enterprises, going after not just the people, but taking apart their infrastructure, taking away their money, all that. And so it's something that I think we're going to have to put even more focus on and kind of capture also the global cross-border dynamic. So at the end of the day, I think it comes down to technology and the cross-border dimension to it are the trends that I would most cite to you on that.
We'll want you to keep your eye on the ball on that and be glad to be able to help and let us know what we can do.
Thank you.